Smeester, otherwise known as Mr. Smeester. All right, today's topic is lying. This is the second part. The first part was a more practical guide to lying and telling the truth. Now I'm going to get a little bit more philosophical. I want to give credit where credit's due. This part comes from the book 12 Rules for Life by Dr. Jordan B. Peterson and some of his lectures. Let's start. So he says, when you tell yourself something, whether it's a lie or whether it's the truth, you are telling yourself a story. Most people will start believing these stories. Okay, so say you tell yourself, so-and-so is a bad person. You are justifying the story that you've told yourself. Why you can't trust this person, why they're bad. Maybe that story's true, maybe it's partly true, or maybe the whole thing's just a lie. But you'll start to believe those stories. These stories, if they're false, won't allow yourself to be honest with yourself. And that's going to have some consequences. So think about this. If you have goals, if you want to be somewhere, if you want to go somewhere, you have to be honest about where you've been and how you got there. So think of a map. Okay, if you want to know where you're going, you have to know where you came from, because that will tell you the direction that you're headed. You have to know where you're at, and that will help you determine where you need to go and how to get there, the decisions that you're going to make on how to get there. The same thing applies in life. So you need to be honest with yourself how you got to be where you are. Maybe you had some issues, things to overcome. Maybe people helped you out. Maybe you got through it on your own. Maybe you kind of lied your way through it. But you need to be honest how you got to be where you are. You have to be honest about where you're at. Is there something that you need to overcome? Are you going to try to get through it? Or are you just going to brush it off and say, oh, it's no big deal? That is going to determine how you move forward in the future. The decisions that you're going to make are going to be affected by your honesty of where you've been and where you currently are at. And those decisions are going to affect where you go. All right, so think about this. This is the analogy that he gives. So say you're in the forest walking on a path. Okay, that path is life. And you come to a big hole. That hole is a trial, something to overcome. You have to be honest with how you got there. Okay, did you walk there? Did you have help? Did you ride on something? Did somebody give you help to get there? You have to be honest with where you're at. What is this thing in front of you? How big is it? How deep is it? How wide is it? How long is it? Is it something that you need to be concerned about? Do you need help? Can you just walk around it and keep going? Or are you going to try to just jump over it because it's real small? If you're not honest with yourself about the magnitude of the problem in front of you, that can cause a lot of problems, because maybe you try to jump over it and maybe you weren't really honest with yourself of how wide it was, so you just fall down and all of a sudden you find yourself at rock bottom. Again, you need to be honest with yourself. How big is this hole that you've just dug, that you've just fallen down? Are you going to need people's help to get out of it? Can you get out of it on your own? How deep is it? So you need to be honest with yourself about where you came from, where you're at, and that will determine where you go. Are you going to go around it? Okay, are there other holes on up ahead? Okay, maybe you've caused all this by your decision making from the past. Maybe you just need to turn around and go back to where you came from and just start a new path. If all of these things are accumulating because you've told lies and stuff, maybe you just need to start telling everyone the truth, or tell them the truth, which means you're starting over again. Okay? So that's a way to think about this philosophically. So lying distorts your pathology. Okay, your pathology is the way you think, which will affect the way that you act. It's your guidance system. Okay, that's what your pathology is. If you lie, you weaken your character. If your character is weak, problems, trials will overcome you if you do not have a strong character. If your pathology is distorted, that's your guidance system. If you distort your pathology by lying, you're telling yourself false stories, you're not honest with yourself about where you've been and where you are, it's going to affect your guidance system. And your guidance system, if that's affected, if that's distorted, you're going to be making bad decisions, which is going to cause more harm to you. You're going to find yourself in bad situation after bad situation. Well, how do you fix your guidance system? You start telling the truth. Telling the truth is a sign of strength, because you're telling yourself, I can handle the consequences. If you lie, you might be rewarded in the short run, like you got out of that situation, but your guidance system is set for a false course. So where you're headed is going to be probably worse than the situation that you just got out of by lying, which is going to cause you to make worse decisions to try to get around those, and you'll probably lie your way out of those. You cannot lie and manipulate your way through life. You can't do it. People are going to catch on. So start telling the truth. If you start telling the truth, that might lead to a bad consequence or situation to start out with. But once you determine to start telling the truth, you will make better decisions so that you won't have to face the consequences ahead, because you know you've determined that you're going to face those consequences. So you'll probably make better decisions so you don't have to face those consequences, because you know you're going to face them. You've determined that. That will lead to better decision making. That will lead to better outcomes in your life. That will lead to higher self-confidence. That will lead to higher self-esteem. You will trust other people and yourself more, and you will become more resilient. You will become stronger in character. So that's kind of the philosophical way to think about lying. Thanks for watching.